The police and the government is the biggest criminals. They're the biggest crooks. Not really, but it just makes me laugh, innit? Like when you hear about these people in the government and the police not really upholding the law. So like, man's on Facebook about 5-10 minutes ago, innit? And I've subscribed to the Evening Standard and the Sun newspaper. I suggest you lot go and subscribe to the Sun newspaper and the Evening Standard and various other news articles and that if you've got Facebook, because some interesting posts pop up. And every now and then, like today, gives me a talking point, make a video, innit? So boom, scrolling through on my phone on Facebook, innit? Scrolling through, bam, I see one Asian girl, mugshot, XPC sentenced. What? For stashing money. Blood, I laughed my fucking head off. So she got a 2-year sentence, but it was suspended for 21 months. One man looked into the story and that basically, this ex-police officer woman also had a husband who was a Met police officer, and him and her and I think 4 or 5 others, they were in some little syndicate thing. They were basically robbing drug dealers, you know. They made about 850 grand robbing drug dealers. So basically they might hear or get the drop that obviously some drug dealers are going to do an exchange over there, and they will turn up and basically confiscate all the money, but they're not booking it at the station. That's going in their back pocket. Mad. So man just thought that was fucking funny, man. Like, how are you trying to uphold the law, go walk around like you're high and mighty and that, and then you're doing things on the side and that? Come on. They should have threw her and locked her up in jail as well. See, the thing is, yeah, like the police and that, man, I ain't got a problem with the police, but what I'm saying is like, they're going around and they're locking up criminals, which they should do. But, you know, when they do it, it seems like they're getting off and that. Nah. They need to be charged just like normal people, maybe even a little bit harsher. You know better, innit? You're a police officer, you know better, innit? Yeah. There's no excuse you can use. You can't use the excuse, you get me, man don't even know how to read and write. Like, man got kicked out of school from Quebec. You get me? There's no jobs out here for us, innit? Man can't even pull the black card or nothing like that. You're an educated person to some degree. You got a job. How much the police officers earn? 40, 50 grand a year? You ain't work. No excuse. No excuse to be doing things like that on the side. I'm not saying that the man them on the road have excuses and that, but definitely they do not. You know, come to think of it, you know, when I was reading through it briefly, to be fair, I don't think she was actually involved in rolling up on these drug dealers and that, taking their things. I just think she happened to be a police officer that was married to another police officer that was doing it. Obviously, she knows what's going on and that, but what I'm saying is I don't think she was going on the moves and that. Because that's what they're doing. They're going on a move. Hit squad. They're going to basically, without licking down, man, robbing, man. This makes you think, like, why are girls so stupid for? Like, why are you getting involved in that? Like, these girls are so dumb nowadays, isn't it? Like love makes you fucking blind and stupid. Plenty of stories, isn't it? You're not just to do with people in the government and that. Man, there are plenty of stories where girls get locked up because they decide it's a good idea to go and try and smuggle drugs into jail for their boyfriend, and then they end up getting nicked, and now they're in prison and their youth gets taken away. So fucking stupid, man. But the thing is, the woman's a police officer as well. Like, if she was some little ratchet ass gal bunning weed and that, then I'd expect her to get involved in shit like this. But you're a police officer. You should know better. You should fucking know better. What are you doing? But you know what? If you got a man like fucking Boris Johnson doing that parties and that on sly, what can you expect? Always hear about them scandals with these government MPs and these government officials and that. I hear about man who's an MP getting busted because he's getting catch with fucking child pornography on his fucking laptop. Like, come on, blood. Come on, man. Man, for set an example on that. Shit, man was in watching one, you know, like them compilation videos, most outrageous moments in the courtroom. I'm not making this, I don't make up nothing, but there was one situation in court in America, obviously. This would only happen in America. I don't know what the person was, but he weren't a criminal, he weren't on trial, but it's more like something to do with the defense, but he weren't a lawyer. I don't really, maybe something to do with the jury, let's say. A kind of neutral person, like a juror. He was one of the jury. My man was having back and forths with the judge. The judge was getting pissed off with him. The judge offered him outside. Yeah. The judge said, let's go outside. They stepped out of the courtroom. All you can hear is boop, 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 boop. My man come back in the courtroom patting. The judge took the man outside and he swung on him. How can the judge get off his, whatever you want to call it, seat, throne, chair, whatever you want to call it, and go and smack up a man outside? The true stories. Man, we even try and find the link for this video and I'll slap it in the fucking in the description box below, innit? Yeah, so I'll put the news article in the description box below, and then below that, man, we'll try and find the video and put it in there, innit? Yeah. The judge went outside and he beat up the man, and then he returned and resumed. But obviously, my man got suspended, or at least got suspended or fired or whatever, innit? This man a gangster, you know. This man a gangster. Like the Jamaican man then will say, innit, like the yardies and that. The police is the biggest gangster. Out there in Jamaica, them man there is corrupt. Them man there is corrupt. Them man there, some of them, not all of them, because there's police that is good everywhere. And there's a few police officers that are bad all over the place, obviously, innit. Majority of the time, police are good, innit. But out there, the police don't fuck about. Mentioned this before, innit. When I was in Jamaica when I was 19, 2012, so 2012, a pregnant woman got shot dead, you know, by a policeman. Fam, what threat could an 8-month pregnant woman pose to a policeman that he would have to back out his magnum revolver and blam her in her head? She probably was just hyping up to him as well. That's it. I mean, you could have just slapped her in some handcuffs. No, my man thought it was cool to just sky her off one time. Blam. Madness. Man, bare story. Obviously, not even talking about like, with the obviously Black Lives Matter, we know the situation, we don't need to say in it, but like other stories, like even that Sarah Everett girl, whatever her name is, getting fucking kidnapped, raped and killed by a policeman. Madness. And he's so dumb as well, isn't it? Man's not condoning anybody to do things to not get catch when they commit crimes. But if you're a policeman, come on, pre the story, innit? If you're a policeman, how the fuck are you getting caught for something like that? Again, disclaimer, man's not condoning anyone do any crime or nothing like that, but you'd think, like, if you're a policeman, you would know how to get away with certain crimes and that. My man's using a mobile phone that's registered to him. My man's hiring out a fucking a car from a rental place like Enterprise and that. My man's pulling up to petrol stations and that. Like, so stupid. Like, these are amateur moves, you know. I don't know this guy was not on the fucking homicide team, blood. The fuck, like, again, man, not the disclaimer, man, not telling it, but blood, go and get yourself a fucking ringer. Get yourself a little fucking one of them little £10 phone from car phone warehouse, innit? Yeah, the shot-in phone and that. Get yourself a little line and that. Like, again, man's not saying to anyone to do anything, but like, come on, man, like, you would think there must have been something wrong with him for him to think that he could get away with it. Bait face. Man's fucking taking up car rentals using his debit or credit card. My man's using his own phone line that's registered to him. He gets cell-sighted and that. My man's at the petrol station. Come on, fam. What happened to fucking wearing a COVID mask and a jerry can with, get me, to go and fill up? Anyway, let's move away before I give anyone any mad ideas and that, innit? But anyway, gal are stupid, innit? Gal are dumb. Even one time I was watching one video, this girl got nicked. Like the video was titled "Why I Went to Jail for 5 Years for a Submachine Gun" or something like that. Innit? Yeah, black girl in Peckham, obviously. Started mixing and associating with the wrong people and that. And yeah, one of the man them said, and this happens all the time. One of the man them said, "Yeah, can you hold a strap for me or whatever?" And yeah, her being dumb and blinded by love said, "Okay, I'll do it." Next thing you know, police are at the door, and she said specifically, I remember it was like it was yesterday. Man, watched this last year at some point, innit? She bust the front door open because she heard like the police like banging on the door or whatever, and she's opened up the front door, and she said all she see is red dots, about 10 red dots on there, innit? Mad. So you're willing to get licked out. Oh, and she had a ute as well. Innit? So you're willing to get licked down by the police for some fucking road ute that's probably got 3 of you around in the local area and that. Y'all are dumb. Man, them would never do that. Man, them would never, I mean, maybe some youngers would hold a gun for their older or something like that, but man, there would never be. Why would you hold something from one of your brethren and that? You're fucking stupid, man. Fucking stupid. A lot of girls in prison, they're not in jail because them themselves are criminals like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're not in jail because they're actively going out robbing, committing burglaries, shanking people, and doing all these kind of things and that. No, a lot of girls are in jail because of their fucking boyfriend. So a lot of girls are in jail because they're a drug mule for their boyfriend. They're not a drug dealer. They're just doing their boyfriend a favor. It's a fucking, there's a big price to pay for that favor. A lot of these girls are in jail for guns. And when I say drug mule, I don't just mean like, you know, trying to bring in drugs into prison. I mean like a girl might go and pick up some drugs and swallow it, put the drugs in a condom, hope it don't burst in her system and bring it down from fucking up north somewhere, Leeds, down to the ends and that. Man even know fucking, I ain't gonna say because it's gonna be too baited, but man even know someone who went to jail for fraud a long time ago because their brother was, you get me, doing some fraud thing and that. And yeah, she got nicked, try escape and go somewhere else. Thought that she could hide away for 6 months or whatever. Well, the police don't forget after 6 months and that. Like, don't you see all these cold cases that get revived and that? Didn't you hear about the story with the fucking electrician? Get me, getting mad with the dead bodies and that in the morgue in Kent. They nicked him. They found out that he was getting, get me, mad with the bodies in the morgue in Kent because he murdered some women about 25 years ago and they caught up with him. New evidence. Yeah, they're coming for your blood clot. Yeah, man. So yeah, that person, that female there that I was just talking about, yeah, she ended up going to jail long time ago, and her son had to get looked after by, get me, family members or whatever, innit? Because she committed crimes and again, she weren't even like a perpetrator, innit? She was just in a position to be helping man out and that. Same thing like this girl that work in banks. A girl's not even into doing no fraud or nothing like that, but she might have got a little bit of pressure or she wanted to impress the man them and help them out. So boom, yeah man, just slapped 10 grand in my man's account. Next thing you know, she's getting slapped with handcuffs. Fucking stupid, blood. Fucking stupid, innit? But yeah man, the police them, sometimes the police and the government is the biggest criminals, the biggest crooks, the biggest gangsters. Like, even when I was in fucking, I used to go down Stoke Newton sometimes, innit? Like, when I was younger, innit? One of my brethren, well, my girl cousin, he's the same. I had 2 girl cousins, same age as man, down there, innit? And they brought me down, introduced me to a couple people on the estate. And yeah, I made friends with one of the man them there, innit? So I used to go and check him on a separate occasion. Like, I didn't even bother go and link my girl cousin and that. Man, I used to go and check my brethren, innit? And yeah, man's hearing stories about one Turkish policeman pulling up and You get me? He knows the man them bun weed or whatever, innit? So he stop and search them, found that they got a couple bags of weed on them, and my man just pocketed it, put it in his pocket. To go and smoke later, obviously, innit? So, yeah, man, the police, them and the government and that, it's the biggest crook sometimes, innit? Sometimes, innit? Yeah, they need to be made an example of, innit? Because obviously they're in a position to be upholding the law and that. So, yeah. That gal, they got off lucky, man. How you getting a 2-year sentence, but then you got it reduced to a 21 month suspended sentence, which means you don't go to jail, innit? I'd love to see how she copes, or I'd love to see how them police officers that commit crimes and how they cope in jail. Mad. Imagine what it would be like to be on the wing, and you might have even put some people away as well, but like you're on the wing and everyone knows you're a police officer. You're probably gonna get in some kind of protection anyway. Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I said, not all the police is corrupt and that, but there's a few still. Yeah, there's a few still. Do you know what? There was even this register, like this list that you could go. I'm gonna see if I can find it. You can type in you can type in like police officers who were convicted, and it tells you what they were convicted for, and that. I'm sure that there was some kind of register open to the public and that. Like even in America, they have, I think it's called the DEA. So in America you have the police. Then if it's called the DEA, you have the police and you have the DEA. Do you know what the DEA's job role is? Do you know what their job is to do? Is to police the police. The DEA was set up to investigate crooked police officers. That's how you know there's so many crooked police officers in America, that they've actually set up police officers to go and investigate other police officers and that. Mad. Anyway, man, spoken enough on the video. Get me. The police there sometimes and the government sometimes. It's the biggest crooks out there, innit? Stay well. It's done, man.